François Degeorge, is the financial system more stable today, 10 years after the financial crisis erupted?
I think it is difficult to measure financial stability on a one-dimensional scale from, say, 0 to 100. I think since the financial crisis, regulators, policymakers, and financial institutions themselves have taken a lot of measures that have reduced risks in the banking sector, in the regulated sector. But at the same time, some of these risks may have been transferred to unregulated parts of the financial system. And also, one important trend that we've seen since the financial crisis is that the pace of financial innovation has accelerated, in part due to technology. And I think it's fair to say that we don't yet have a full view of the new risks that these developments have introduced.
You have mentioned what has changed, but where is still a need for additional amendments?
I think that one of the greatest changes, one of the greatest consequences of the financial crisis has been a breakdown in trust. So not just trust in the financial system, but also more broadly, trust in political institutions and even, for that matter, in academic institutions. And I think that rebuilding that trust is an important collective task that we have ahead of us.
What is the role of scientific research in that context?
Well, thanks to new technologies, thanks to the wide availability of data, which has increased exponentially in the past few years, researchers have access to tools that they did not have access to before. For example, it's as if they had access to a microscope that can enable them to shed light on very detailed phenomena in the financial system. I'll give you an example. Researchers can now pinpoint exactly how a financial shock propagates from one part of the financial system to another part of the financial system. And I think this is a valuable service that researchers provide to society.
In a global context, where does Switzerland stand when it comes to scientific research in finance?
Switzerland is very well positioned, thanks in part to the great environment that we have in this country, including support from the financial center. The Swiss Finance Institute itself is regularly ranked among the top 10 institutes in the world and the top 3 in Europe.
You are the managing director of the Swiss Finance Institute, based in Zurich, but also in Geneva and in other regions of Switzerland. What are your main tasks?
The main task of Swiss Finance Institute is to build knowledge capital for the Swiss Financial Center. And the way we do that is by helping our 6 Swiss partner universities attract and keep top professors. We organize knowledge exchange activities between academics and decision makers in the financial center. For example, roundtables where they can exchange views on topics that are of high interest to practitioners but also to researchers. And of course, our training programs combine a unique combination of practical insights and academic knowledge.
Why is it important for a financial center to have state-of-the-art scientific research?
Well, top researchers act as a magnet for students. They expose top researchers, top professors, expose their students to the frontier knowledge in the field, and then these students graduate and are hired by the financial center.
Personally, what are your topics that you are researching?
Well, I think one of the fascinating topics, which is quite new, is the fact that nowadays in finance, a lot of financial information is produced and consumed by machines. And how this affects the pricing of assets and the flow of capital, I believe, is one of the fascinating topics right now.
Now, financial stability will be also the main theme of the next annual meeting in a couple of days. What can we expect from this high-profile event?
The SFI annual meeting will allow for an exchange of views between academics and decision makers, on the topic of financial stability. In fact, several of my SFI colleagues in the various partner universities that work with SFI have done important work on the topic of financial stability, and this will be an opportunity to present their findings to a wide audience.
Professor Degeorge, thank you very much for this interview.
Thank you.